Knock knock.
Who's there?
BS01 Podcast.
BS01 Podcast who?
BS01 Podcast episode number 4. Yeah.
Oh, that's clever.
Cool.
I just started a podcast with a knock knock joke, and I'm Krolix.
And I'm KZN02.
This is Electric Tura.
Is this Toe of Cheese or Barnacles on BC Power?
Hey TOC, welcome to the show. He's our guest this week.
Hey there, everybody. I'm really excited to be here, ready to talk some Bionicle. You know, the sets are ending and the story may be coming to a halt, but the fans are still here, and we're all still just as excited to talk about Bionicle.
Which reminds me, I wish we could have got this started earlier when Bionicle was still pretty active, but...
Isn't that a killer?
Yeah.
Think of the same thing. I was, for the longest, I've hosted 2 other podcasts, and one of them was in like 2004 and 5, so I was really little and didn't know much, but I got it up there, and it was a Bionicle podcast. But the site itself didn't have a lot of leverage, so not a lot of people listened, so I might have done a few episodes, but no one listened to it. So it kind of hurts me that podcasting didn't get really big until now when Bionicle's getting smaller.
Yeah, well, it's good to have you here. And we still got news going around, so we'll cover that first.
Absolutely.
For some Bionicle news, Legoland Florida was announced on BZ Power recently.
I wonder how that's going to go in light of the Harry Potter theme park there.
And Disney World.
Ooh,
Yeah.
probably a little bit overshadowed.
I mean, because the Harry Potter thing's like brand new, so it'll be like, oh, there's this Bionicle thing. So maybe it'll be like they go in, go to the Harry Potter thing, come out, go to Bionicle.
But will Bionicle be there?
Or Lego, I mean.
Yeah.
But that is the point I wanted to get at. Will Bionicle be present at all? Does anybody have a guess?
They might have some like statues there, but beyond that, I'm gonna say no. It's gonna be dead by the time it's up.
Yeah, while it wouldn't be like significant for Bionicle to be there just because it's not exactly huge anymore, I would certainly like to see it.
Yeah.
Because it's like one of the biggest things that Lego has ever put out. I mean, most of the other big stuff they've had has been franchises from other people. Yeah, licensed stuff.
Yeah.
Star Wars, Indiana Jones, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't been to Legoland. Has anybody else?
No.
I've been to the one in California.
What did you think?
It was a great place, a lot of places to go, rides to go on. I remember there was an exhibit just mainly Bionicle sets back in 2001, or at least they had those sets. Even the McTorn, too.
Yeah, that would have been big in 2001.
Yeah.
Alright, well, cool. Hopefully we'll find out more about that soon.
What do you think? What kind of stuff do you think they'll have there? I mean, what do they have in the Legoland right now? They got a bunch of kiddie rides, I know.
I'm not sure, but I'm sure Clutch Powers will be a huge deal there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hero Factory.
Yeah.
Point number 1: Hero Factory kills a discussion about Bionicle.
Oh.
We're not resentful at all.
No.
Yeah, we should move on. Next item in Bionicle news is Matanui Saga was updated. I guess we shouldn't report this all the time because it's on a pretty...
Daily schedule.
Almost. But we can talk about some of the big stuff that came out. One of the things is that the Great Beings were possibly shown in one of the pieces of artwork there.
I'm not saying possibly. I'm saying they were.
Yeah, Binkmeister put in his blog that basically we can decide for ourselves whether we saw them or not. I'm pretty sure most of us would decide that we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like after 10 years, it's about time.
Yeah. It was that,
Yeah.
okay, it was in like chapter 8 or something like that. Was it just me, or did that look a lot like a Nuva cube, the thing that Matanui went in and found in the little
Yeah,
lava
it did.
cave?
It did. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just wondering if that had any significance at all.
The power source?
Yeah,
Yeah. Power source. I thought it looked like it, but it might just be coincidence.
yeah. I mean, it might make sense, if it was connected to the Nuva power, or if that was like, the source or one of the sources of the Nuva cube's power and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. There again, it might just be completely unrelated.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. It does make sense, but it's also like us to overthink every detail that comes our way.
Oh yeah, us,
What we
Harry
do.
Potter fans, Star Wars fans, we all overstudy everything, but it's great. That's where podcasts are born,
Yeah, it's part of the fun.
Yeah.
Something else that happened in Matanui Saga pretty recently, at the time of this recording, was the Shattering was shown in the latest one. The Shattering of Spherus Magna.
It's seeing brand new images of everything now. I almost don't want everything ruined. It's really showing it's coming to an end.
Yeah, that's true, but at least all the artwork is really great.
That's also true.
Yeah.
I think that the shattering was supposed to be something that wasn't quite so neat, like it showed two
Yeah.
even spheres.
Just kind
Yeah.
of falling out.
Yeah.
Perfectly coming out. It just so happens that the explosion is perfectly manufactured.
But oh well, cool picture.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's aesthetically pleasing and everything, so we're not complaining.
Next item in the news is Reign of Shadows Chapter 10.
Oh,
It's amazing.
wow.
Go ahead, tell me what you think.
Who, me?
Yes.
The Reign of Shadows have been alright. Most of the narratives on the Bionicle sites, I've just thought, they were okay. They weren't as good as books that I held dear to my heart, like Time Trap.
Right.
I don't know what it was about this one. Maybe it was the fact that Artaka was actually not mentioned, but shown in all his glory.
Green gray glory.
Yeah, green gray glory. So, okay, we got Artaka coming in and blowing the party, Trent Crom in Liwa Nuva's body, which was pretty sad for Liwa. I mean, he's going to wake up in a couple of days and be all like, what? Have no idea what's been going on for the past day. And so Pterodax comes in, blows the party that Artaka blew the party. And then you got, after that, the sequence with the energized Protodermis and the Zyglak and the Vortex getting transformed into... we don't find out.
It was nice to see some other, characters in there. Not going to say who, but it was nice to see them back.
So overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was, of the serials, it really stood out. Not to insult any of the serials or anything. They are good, but this one is really good.
Mm-hmm.
This is like...
Everything we've been asking for years.
What do you think of Artaka's description? Personally, I'm just glad he's not blue.
Yeah. It's funny how much he was like the anti-Karzani. They resembled each other, like, coloration-wise, but they were completely different personalities with completely different objectives and destinies and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, thinking back, I think the coolest part was how it said he had, was it carvings over his armor?
Yeah, the ancient Tauran writing on his arms. I wonder what that says. I wonder if it's like, it says mom.
With the heart, yeah.
Yeah.
It really makes me want to see him visually. And I'm sure we'll be talking about Reign of Shadows more on other podcasts, but we need to get on to our next and last piece of news for Bionicle this podcast. And that is that the element of kinetics, which was being pushed on BZ Power to get canonized, was not approved.
Can't say I'm
Wait.
surprised.
Wait, as a Toa element or just an element?
A Toa element.
I can't see it. I think it's more of a legendary element. It would probably have been more likely to win.
Yeah, 2 points on kinetics from me. First of all, Greg's against introducing too many elements in the story that are confusing to kids. And that's why Toe of Stone can't control sand, and I just don't see kinetics being accepted by the younger children without much confusion. And second of all, the element itself just seems like people are scrambling over things to try and get canonized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there really should be a cap. It's good that they're putting a cap on what fans can and cannot, push for canonization, because if we were getting every single element that we wanted, it would be crazy. We wouldn't, BSO1 would increase in, 3 times in size just from all the canonized elements.
Yeah, definitely. I do appreciate psionics, that Erebus got canonized and everything, but overall I'm just a little bit tired of the whole canonization aspect of BZ Power these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Well,
can't let the fans
I-
hijack the storyline.
So, I'm sorry, if kinetics is supposed to be confusing for little kids, how is psionics not?
Yeah, I guess
Oh,
you're right there, yeah.
To be perfectly honest, I didn't know what psionics was until I heard one of the last shows, and then I looked it up. So, and I'm certainly not a kid, so if it's going to be confusing for guys like me who don't know the word, then what are the little 6-year-olds, 6 and older?
They're not
Well,
gonna-
that would spark their curiosity, and they'll look it up, and they learned a new word.
Yeah, I don't know, Greg will probably have to explain it in pretty
Well, anyway,
small words.
It seemed that everyone who was arguing for kinetics, they didn't know what they were talking about. They kept continuously mixing up kinetics and momentum, which, me as a student of physics, I know those are different things. but everything they described was for momentum as a power of kinetics. It just kind of really bothered me.
Yeah. A few people
Yeah.
probably had good arguments toward it, but overall, I think kinetics was doomed from the beginning.
I remember we have a quote about Greg. He said something about real-life physics don't apply in Bionicle, so...
So kinetics may or may not. Alright, let's go over some BS01 news. Actually, let's go over one BS01 news item, because that's all we've got. And it's relatively small. On BIONICLEsector01.com, we recently got a new main page design, which is only a little bit different than how it was.
What are the differences?
The welcome section was stretched out and put on top rather than side by side with important notices. And now important notices and recent event are next to each other. And a new section, which is for our podcast, is underneath that.
Did it replace the collaboration of the week, or has that been gone for a while?
The collaboration of the week was taken out maybe a month ago because I'm currently working on a new page which is called BS01 Maintenance. It's a little better in a few important ways, so when that's ready, that template will go next to BS01 Podcast because we don't need all that space. But it is a pretty cool section for anybody interested in the podcast. It's got our latest episode there and links to the download MP3, iTunes page, transcript, and stuff like that. And then right below that, you can look forward to the next episode. It's got links where you can send in comments and everything, so it's pretty handy to be right there. I'm glad we got it on the main page. So in any of our segments, when I ask you guys for feedback, go ahead and go to biosector01.com and scroll down to the BS01 podcast section there. You'll find all the links that you need to get your opinions heard.
It looks pretty cool. It looks, I can see it stretched and everything. It looks great.
Yeah, thanks. Swirt did that icon there.
Craw,
I really
your
like
birthday
that.
was last week.
Happy birthday to me.
Yes. Happy birthday, Craw.
Hey, thanks.
Can you
Still,
sing a song?
no.
Okay. Yeah, you're probably too old for that.
Thanks, though.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Anyway, that's all the news for BS01. Last area of news is for our podcast. I just wanted to thank Kanohi Journal, which is ran by BioRan23. They were willing to host our files on their website because our last one wasn't working quite as well as we wanted it to. But yeah, we're very grateful to Kanohi Journal. It's the largest Bionicle e-magazine online, so go ahead and go to kanohijournal.com if you're interested. Thanks, BioRan, for being willing to host us. But other than that news about our new hosts, we've just got some comments sent in about our voices, which should be funny to go over. Hey, KZ, you want to read those?
Okay. Let's see. Triggy. Pretty much what I envisioned. Swert, same. Krolix has a great voice, not high nor low. Perfect as host.
Aww.
Kalu fits. Doric fits. KZN02 sounds like there's fur over his mouth. Ugh. Sound Lord and BioRan23. Well, I knew you were Chinese, so it fits. Ugh.
Oh,
Well, first of all, KZ, I'm pretty sure that had to do with your quality more than anything, but I'm pretty sure it's
I'm very
better.
sorry.
Nah.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'll try to make sure I can get my voice right.
Dan Wojo, he says, sounded bored.
You know, I listened to the show. It sounded fine to me.
I think he's kind of a quiet guy. That might have something to do with it, but he was cool.
well, anyways, I'd just like to say I'm interested in seeing what people say about my voice.
That's it for the news.
Alright, well, over on BZ Power, we've got the official Greg dialogue topic. I'm a topic starter. I know what's going on with it. Just like to bring up a few main points from it from the past, how many weeks is it? 2, something like that.
Yeah, and I gotta admit, I did take these from the new Farshdi feed. It was a little bit cheap of me, but hey, it's originally from the OGD.
Alright, point number 1. Apparently everyone's wondering about Tahu, who's now back to being a Toamata. How's he feel about that? Well, Greg says he's pretty frustrated, but he's gonna have to work with what he's got.
Aren't the Toamatas supposed to be the most powerful Toe in the universe, though?
Well, they are, but the Nuva made them even more powerful.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Honestly.
Yeah, speaking of which, he's supposed to go and get this golden armor, which, according to the new Star commercial, says makes the bearer invincible. Yeah, Greg says that's not true. What it does is going to be revealed in the March comic.
Which is our last comic. Sad day.
The last comic, yeah. It's going to be sad.
I have a feeling the bit in the commercial where they said, "It makes your Toa invincible," it was just there for marketing.
Yeah.
You know,
probably.
appeal to the little kids. Oh, they're invincible now. You know.
Wait a minute.
So the Ignika de-evolved Tahu into his Mata form, and that's not been revealed why yet, right?
Well, yeah, he needs it to wear the armor. He needs to be like that to wear the armor. Anuva can't do it, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't make sense to me, but
Wait, he had adaptive armor. Wouldn't the adaptive armor
make
just...
him look like a Mata.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe some sort of interface that doesn't work with the Anuva.
Yeah, sure. So Tahu's frustrated, but he'll probably feel better once he gets the golden armor, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't make him invincible.
You know, if I was a Toa at all, I'd be celebrating. And Tahu's complaining about not being immortal.
So, also in the OGD recently, we've had a lot of questions about what's going on between the Shadowed One and Predax. You know, they made a deal in Destiny War, but we haven't seen it yet. Even though the new chapter of Reign of Shadows just came out, we still haven't seen it. But Greg promises we will.
Wasn't that deal made like a long time ago?
Really long time ago, yeah. I don't know. I really want to know what's going on just because we've been waiting for so long.
Me too.
And last major point is, okay, where's Faison? He disappeared in another dimension, and where is he now? All Greg had to say about that was, quotes, "Oh, Faison always pops up somewhere."
Oh, guys, what could that possibly mean? He pops up somewhere. Okay, hang on a second. We gotta overanalyze this. Somewhere.
Right behind us.
Oh, he's here, guys! Oh!
Take a picture.
Hang on a
Hurry
second.
before he teleports out.
Get an autograph.
Oh, he's gone. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh,
He said, hey, he says hi though, and he approves of his article on BIONICLE01.
oh, that's awesome.
Good.
Who you guys talking?
Vazon.
He's on. Wait, is that Swert?
Hey, Swert always pops up somewhere.
Just like Vizon.
Bizon's on Skype.
I am the Toa of Anarchy. I'm Toa V, the
That-
real one.
That is true.
That is
Oh.
true, yeah.
Man, so many coincidences here. Hey, Swert, what's up?
Ooh, guys. Hi,
Yeah.
everyone. I'm Bert.
Hi, we were just sitting here talking about the importance of things that Greg says, like, you know, I'm going to the bathroom and I'm hiding right now, and Vizon always pops up somewhere. Little things like that definitely have significance.
As far as overanalyzing goes, I'm sure this means that Vazon will be in the last comic and probably save the world.
He has to show up in the last comic. and
The
give
fate of the
Predax
universe
a great
again.
big hug.
Give the universe a great big hug. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, if he doesn't turn out to be
You
the
know what's
Bionicle
awesome?
universe's coolest
What if-
hero, he was certainly one of the best villains.
Alright, so people, we're back. My internet just crashed and it's all good now, but speaking of my faulty internet, we were able to record a couple of segments last night, Swert, Kairu, E.T. and I, but yeah, my computer crashed today and that's all gone. So here we go again.
Okay, so we got, what is the name for this thing? Yeah, Borak Awake. You see, I'm used to stuff like all the glitters not having the title on front. So we got, comic number 4. We've just gone through the Rahi saga, and they've had their battle with Makuta. They've got their golden masks, which also don't make them invincible. And so we got the Borak saga, and it's a 6-parter. The Borak Awake is the first one. And so we open up, if you skip the "if you wake one, you wake them all" advertisement, which looks really ominous and great, except for the Tanakh Va at the bottom left, which is a little bit awkward. You open up
Agreed.
with, you know, it was a few hours ago. Matanui was peaceful and quiet, if you want to pronounce the bold letters and everything. And so, basically, the Toa are all hanging out, and then everything goes to, I'll say Karzani to keep it relevant. And you got such expletives as crack, crash, and thoom. I don't know what thoom means, so, you know,
Probably like an
Something
earthquake
falling?
or something.
Flabammy.
You know, these sound effects would be great to like do a prank, rename ourselves that, like on BZ Power, when the staff all change their names.
I can't do that.
Oh.
Used to change my name on grounds that I don't like keeping the same name for 45 days.
Not even if it was something like Crash or Crack or Thoom? Alright, so stuff is crazy in the comic.
So then a Ta, apparently it's a Tomatoran. It doesn't look like one to me. So Tomatoran, who will nickname Smeagol, comes in. He comes in and he's all like, Borak, precious. Borak. And he just keeps saying Borak over and over again. And let me just comment on this first, on like page 3, this great shot of Tahu that just looks so rugged and rustic and shiny, and I really miss that style. There are great things about the new style, but
Not so great things about Stewart's style.
Hey.
Well, like, honestly, there are some really great things about Sager, because, like, if you look in some of the shots of, like, Vizon, where there was one in specific, I'm sure you guys will remember, where he was talking to Fenrak. He kind of reminds me of Gollum, too.
Oh, yeah.
About his arrival on the island, and there's this one shot, it's like a split shot of him and Vizok, and they're like, the light from their eyes is kind of like pouring out to the side. And I thought that was one of the brilliant moments of the 2006 comics.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like that is great, but stuff like this is too. So I guess they're going to go ask Taraka Vakama what the Bolrock are, because they decided to go to Takoro. First discoloration of this issue, because I know you guys have kind of pointed out some of the bad coloring, is you've got someone saying, I have just one question, and then someone says, what's that, Pohatu? So it's Pohatu saying he's got a question, but it looks like Onua from up here, and the brown one, like the brown streak of light, isn't even talking. He's just kind of like, no, I'm Pohatu.
Yeah.
So then they get to Takoro, and for some reason there are Komatoran here. There are like 3. If you look in the background, you'll see 3 Komatoran. So they fight the Bolrock.
The Toa go fight the Bolrock, not the Komatoran, that is.
Yeah. Well, they don't. Most of that is not true, actually. Most of the Toa go, but Tahu is so annoyed that he goes to the Komatoran and kicks them out.
Out of my village.
Yeah. And so you've got this shot of Gali and Liwa, or Lewa, depending on who you ask, combining their powers, creating this great, huge storm with green lightning, and which
Blue lightning too.
kills, blue lightning too, but take that for granted.
One of the best examples of, like, the elemental powers ever, and I'm really upset we never got stuff like this again.
Yeah,
you know what
I was going to say.
I just looked in the encyclopedia, and it's Lewa, by the way. Lewa.
Officially Lewa.
Yeah.
See, that annoys me, because then in the movie they say Liwa.
Well, the movies were just wrong on so many levels.
So Lewa and Gaily.
Lewa, or Gaily, whatever. They do the blue lightning and the green lightning, even though I don't know how wind and water honestly would create a storm. You'd also need electricity.
Hey, just go with it.
Maybe it's just pure elemental energy.
The Bolrock flee, even though, in my opinion, it's 3 teams to Bolrock, they could potentially beat the Toa.
The Borak, their purpose is to just basically destroy Matsunui to the way it's supposed to be. If you look at the storm, it's basically doing their job for them.
So maybe that's why they ran away. They were like, oh, these guys have it. Cool. We can go copy it.
Good point.
Okay, the Bolrock flee. Pohatu finds Akrana or what's that in its head is the line. Duraga Vakama comes out, and he says, I know the answers you seek, Toe of Stone, though I wish I did not.
Well, what's he doing there is my question.
Well, he was there earlier. You see him, like, a few pages forward. I mean, it is his
he's
village.
just kind of, like, creeping on them and coming out of nowhere.
Well, obviously, in the comics, he's not as brave as he is in Mask of Light against the Rakshi. In the comic, he just hides behind rocks.
Doesn't even thank them.
Yeah, seriously, he just says, hey guys, those things, nasty. They don't, no gratitude whatsoever from Vakama.
I know the answers you seek. Such a know-it-all.
I think I know what it is. He probably knew exactly what the Bolrock were already, now that we know what it is, the Avatar. And that's probably why he was reluctant to fight them, because he's like, why would I have to go fight something I was willing to protect in the first place?
Mm.
Now the thing is, that was my next inquiry, was he says we, whoever we is, have known the legends of the Bolrock for centuries. Now, I have a few problems with that. Knowing what we do now, their purpose was kept kind of under wraps. Like, a new Harry Potter book, practically. Nobody really knew what they were. So my question is, how does he know it? How does he know this legend, which he proceeds to explain in this intricate and very dark-colored anyway, narrative on the next page? He tells them, collect 800 rings. No, collect 8 prana. There's a little Sonic there. To unlock the secret to their defeat. And then Tahu specifically asks, how do you know so much about these creatures, Taraka?
Oh, shoot, I'm sorry, that's the phone.
And then Turaga Vakama's cell phone rang, and he said, "Hang on just a second, Tahu. This isn't working out for me. Hang on, just a moment."
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I just need to disconnect this phone.
So Vakama says there will be time later to reveal all Toa of Fire, but beware, etc., etc. But that part doesn't matter.
Could Bakama just got a vision of the Borak?
That's true. Then who's we? I wonder.
He could have told the other Borak.
And then the fact that he says they've known it for centuries, but they've been there for millennia. I wondered. I don't know. Maybe there's some tale of the Borak that we just haven't heard before that exists, but by the time they'd gotten to that point in the story, Greg was just kind of like, "Oh, let's not bother with that." So Liwa goes back to his village, hoping that maybe the Borak haven't reached Lakoro, and they have. The Turaga and the Matoran all have Krana on their faces. The last line is Turaga Matau saying, "We have been waiting for you." And a bunch of Matoran and a bunch of Borak are there. You can see Lakoro behind them, or just Lawahi, part of it, in ruins, or at least burning up. And then it says to be continued, and it gives us a nice plug for the Bionicle website. There you go. There's comic number 4.
Sorry.
Leaves up with a nice cliffhanger like Bionicle comics tend to do. Like a lot of comics tend to do, so
Yeah,
I thoroughly enjoyed this. I thought it was a good opener for what turned out to be one of the better sagas in the Bionicle story.
Definitely, yeah.
The saga itself is awesome. I started in 2002, like most people know, and that was the first comic I ever got, this one. So I was really happy to be part of this one. Anyway, I would like to propose something real fast.
Okay.
To anybody out there listening to this podcast, please get me another microphone. I ask. All right, moving on.
Alrighty. Well, thanks, TOC. Unfortunately, we couldn't have the comic discussion that was recorded yesterday, but you did really good, so thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Glad to do it. Yeah, I just hope I live up to Kairu's reputation.
We'll be sure to let you know.
Yeah, I'll see the comments on BZP. They'll be like, "Who is this guy taking over Kairu? What is it?" Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah, thanks. That's really a confidence booster.
No problem.
Hey, at least this podcast is immediately better than that first one you worked on.
Ooh. Yeah, but that was the one where I interviewed Greg on the phone twice. Yeah, let's move on. What's next, Croc?
What is next? What's next is topical discussion, and KZNO2, that's yours.
In today's topical discussion, we're talking about Borak, which
fancy that.
Since coincidentally we were on them in the comic 4. So let's see, what should we talk about?
We should talk about the Borak.
Yeah, talk about Borak. So yeah,
Well, they're about 4.5 feet high. They're kind of round. They got these shields on. Okay.
Alright, first of all, sets. Who has all the Borak?
I have all. I've got all 6.
I've just got a couple.
Korok.
I think Korok might be the only one I don't have.
Yeah, I wasn't big on the clones, so I just got a couple, but as far as sets, I liked them a lot. The Krana were really cool to play with and like launch off of their heads and stuff.
Yeah, it was like one of the collectability aspects of Bionicle that slowly but surely died away after 03.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Rotuka, but not as much, you know. I mean, like the Kanoka discs and then the Rotuka. But you had the Krana, and then the Krana Cow, and then the masks in 2001 and 2002, the Toa Nuva masks.
Yeah, they had a good collectability aspect to them and playability with the functions.
Just a quick question. For the Krana, I can't remember. Do they actually fit on the later heads, like the Metro heads, or...
Not really, but you can make them.
Right. They definitely don't fit on the Anika head. Will not fit on this one head.
I don't know, Sword. I've got a hot glue gun that wants to argue with you.
I think you want to, not hot glue them, because that could fall off. Try super glue next time.
Okay, basically, in 2008, we find out that the Borak were actually Avmatorn in the past, and that it's evolved.
That's kind of sick of the great beings or whoever evolved them, though, because you take Matoran that have life coursing in them, and then you make them into mindless robots.
I blame Greg.
Yeah.
Well, the Matoran were just meant to build. I mean, that's why they were made, to maintain the Matanui robots, so...
Yeah, but they're people, too.
Yeah, but the great beings weren't too interested in that.
Well, then who are the people? Like, who are supposed to be the main characters of the Bionicle universe, if not the...
The Heart of Metronui, the Matoran.
Yeah, Heart of Metronui.
The very first Matoran at that. The
And apparently it's
Alpha
also
Fight.
white blood cells, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of nice to know where they come from, but I was expecting something a lot different.
Yeah. I'm not exactly happy with all of the secrets that we've learned about the Bionicle universe, but that's one of the ones that I'm totally okay with, and that even is kind of really interesting. You know,
Yeah,
the fact that they, first of all, were not villains, but that they were allies in disguise that the Toa slaughtered. So maybe that means it's okay
Yeah.
that they were soulless.
yeah,
That means the
maybe.
Toa don't have to have a guilty conscience about killing Matoran.
true.
They still might have a little bit, though.
But we learned this
And
fact about them, like, what, was it 6 years after the battles with the
6
Boroks?
years later.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So by then, the audience moved on anyway, so it's not exactly as bad as we would think. Only the diehard fans, like, me or you guys, would actually remember this. So.
That's why we're the ones making a podcast about it.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
how
and-
it's like.
And one more thing to add. Remember the Boxlers? That they were actually made out of Borok parts?
Yeah.
It just adds more to the level of creepiness that's sneaked in there.
Yeah.
So back to Borok. Why don't we move on right after we give a quick rating of these guys, 1 to 10. What do you guys think as far as enemies go? Because they were the enemies of 2002.
Well, as enemies just from 2002, I thought I'd have to give it a 7 because they were unique in that they were the first thing that had real powers to challenge the Toa.
So ET, 7 out of 10. How about you, Swert?
I would give them about a 6, actually. They're generally not the biggest enemy because, as I said, they're really easy to defeat if you get one alone. And they're really big in swarms, though. But they could be a lot more dangerous. They could be,
Yeah.
Or that
Just
unity.
right. They just need to be in swarms, and that's it. Now, the Borok Call, which we could discuss in a later episode, they would probably be an 8 because they actually did something that none of the other enemies did. They struck first.
Yeah, they were a bit more unique.
Really, they actually went straight for the source of their powers.
KZ?
My rating, probably 8 out of 10. Most of them have the same powers as the Toa, so except for the Leibach, they have acid. But yeah, they have the same powers, so it could be just as deadly. And since there are a lot of them, they could use their powers a lot more and a lot more destruction than the Toa could cause themselves if they wanted to. But yeah,
TOC?
I'm gonna say around probably like a 7.5 if that's not cheating.
No.
I can never do a solid number, but like they weren't, like Swart said, they weren't like a huge threat individually. But what's more interesting to me about them is their purpose and what we find out later. If you had asked me this back in like 2007 before we knew squat about them, other than they're just another generic 6-part villain here to kill the Toa or whatever,
Yeah.
then I would have said something like 4 out of 10 because that's boring. But then we find out that they were not at all what we thought, and then the fact that they were Matoran was really intriguing to me. So I'd say about 7.5. And the Chrono were just too cool.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make one last comment about them. Has anybody noticed that they're about the same size as a baseball? Has anybody ever tried to play Borok ball with these things yet?
Yes!
Oh.
I used to do that all the time. I wasted so much money. Mommy, I want Tanak, Mommy. I thought I got you that last week. Yeah, you did, but
I broke it.
Home run.
another one.
We're just going to build a giant baseball bat with Bionicle pieces, and we can be perfect. Of course, what would break first, the bat or the ball?
Depends if you use lime green pieces in the bat.
well, I didn't use them as baseballs, but I use them as Christmas ornaments, as long as you have a hook piece. And
Oh, yeah.
Did you really?
yeah, actually, I found that out from another website. They just had a few pieces to a Borok and hung them on a tree, and yeah, it worked really well.
That's
Pretty cool.
ingenious.
You know what? I'm going to do that next year.
Hey, thanks KZ for hosting that. That was great.
Mm-hmm. So let's get to our next item.
Yeah, last segment for this episode is listener question and answer. And we missed Bionicle Man last week. I don't know how that happened for sure, but here's his question, which we try to have one from Bionicle Man every episode. Who wants to read that one?
Oh, I'm going to take this because we talked about this all throughout the episode.
Yeah.
Okay. He says, B-Man says, out of all the characters, Liwa, Lewa, Lewu, whatever, he probably has the most different ways to say his name. Many fans pronounce his name different ways, and I was wondering how each of you pronounce it. Well, you've probably learned here. I personally always pronounced it Liwa. We are very like-minded, you and I. By the way, according to BIONICLe01, it's supposed to be pronounced Lewa, like Crop pointed out.
I insist it is Lewa. It is Lewa. That's the only way it makes sense.
We should try to get a different pronunciation canonized, guys.
Oh no.
Oh
No, no.
Craw, don't. Craw, now
Don't
that you said it, someone's going to try and do it.
Everybody that's listening to this podcast, don't try that.
Please don't.
Everybody that's listening to this podcast, PM Greg, make topics, and try to get that one changed.
That's it. It's the last episode of BS01 podcast.
It was really great, guys.
Alright.
Okay,
Yeah.
Lewa. Anyway, next question. This one's from Toa Matanui, and he wants to know why Triggy's favorite Skakti Paraka is AVAC. And we could just wait for him to let him answer, or we could speculate.
I guess his original name used to be the Trigger. And that's probably where he.
And that sounds cool.
Yeah, and then he renamed it Triggy shortly before becoming Staff, probably to be more, unique. It worked. So, here's a word of advice. If you want to be on BS1 Staff, have a unique name. Like me.
I don't.
Unique, yeah.
I'm just glad I'm not Bionicle fan Nuva anymore. I mean, how lame is that?
Oh, that was
a great name.
Thanks.
That was a fun name.
You see, there have been a lot of Toa of cheeses, though. That's my downfall. People are always, like, I registered once on a Bionicle website, and they were like, so, are you going to leave us again? And I was like, what? I've never been here. And then they linked me to another account, and I was like, oh, no, that's not me. And I thought, oh, no, all the creativity of my name, which I've had since I was, like, 7, has gone down the drain.
And this is why we call you Cheese Face, because nobody else has that name.
I'm pretty sure that Triggy just really likes the set AVAC, but we'll let him say whatever he wants to next time he comes on. And we have been missing him because we want our segment of sets back, and he's just a really cool person to have on the podcast, so we're going to try to get him as much as we can.
Alright, next question is from DV. He wants to know how the Core War contest is coming along. Now, according to Erebus, it's going fine. We're just waiting for one more judge. Estimated time of completing judging every entry is the end of February.
Thank goodness.
I don't believe this, but it's been taking so long. I wish it'll happen. I really hope it's going to happen.
It's a cool contest, but I was sick of having that banner on our main page for so long.
Now you wonder why I approved the second contest.
Yeah.
We just wanted it off. Just something
Then again, I'm
else.
taking care of that contest banner too, so I'll get around to making another contest one of these days. Here's an idea. Don't pitch me any ideas.
Hey, everybody listening to this podcast, please pitch Swart as many ideas as you can.
I've got an idea.
Oh, come on!
Reverse psychology.
We've got one question from Nuperu1995. He says, I'd just like to say I was very sad that Doric couldn't be on episode 3, apparently because he had to go see his lady. He's a very funny guy with an awesome voice, and congrats on finally bagging that vandal who recently messed up the FS featured special template and had over 70 dupes. Kudos.
Wasn't that?
And then
So,
they let
can
me
I
on the
ask-
podcast.
So who's the one that again? Who banned him finally? I can't remember.
Maybe
Shine, I think.
Shine, yeah.
Fine.
Thought. Okay.
Okay.
Thank goodness,
Yeah.
that was obnoxious.
He continues
That
to
was.
say, and I remember that the huge spam bot epidemic we had a couple months ago just faded away, but has it been completely eradicated? First of all, we're sad Doric couldn't be on the episode as well. He wanted to be here tonight also, but he's just lame sometimes, and you gotta forgive him.
And for the answer, Swart, what do you have to say?
Well, okay. When we had those spam bots, you may notice I didn't have a recapture system set up. Finally, I got fed up with the spam bots, so said to myself, that's it, so let's just install this thing. Haven't seen one since.
Woohoo!
I mean, I've seen a couple of the, actual manually signed up ones, but they've been few and far, and we usually take care of them immediately.
Yeah, thanks Snooper1995.
Okay. I guess this is a suggestion for like a section on the podcast or on BS01, I guess. He says maybe have a Vandal of the Week. That would be entertaining. I'd also like to know some info concerning the Cold War contest, but I guess we've already gotten that, and that was from Grant Sud.
Let's answer this all at once, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3. No.
Oh.
I'm assuming that Grant Sud is joking here, but the thing with Vandals is they just want attention and we don't give it to them. It's pretty much as simple as that. The topic of Vandals doesn't really need to come up all that much. I mean, I don't want people to start thinking that we have to deal with it all the time. It's really not that much of a problem, especially on BSO1. Everything's very well taken care of. So, yeah, but no Vandal of the week.
So from ARAZ, I hope that's how you say it. I'm sorry if I did it wrong.
What's your favorite story year?
We better not go in depth, but just quickly,
Just name the name.
yeah,
Name the year.
2006.
2006.
Say
Everybody
2003 or 4.
2006. Oh.
No, I just said 3 or 4.
Combo breaker.
Probably 3. 2003. I'll go with that.
2008.
This would make a great topical discussion.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll do it sometime. Did you say your favorite year, Swart?
Yeah, 2006.
Jeez, I wonder why so many people love 2006.
The Baraka? I don't know.
Hello.
That's true.
He's on. He's awesome.
Oh, that's true. But we'll, again,
Oh,
get in
okay.
depth sometime on.
Yeah, very sorry we didn't have enough time to spend on that question, but we'll go over it sometime. Thanks for submitting that. Vartemp asks who our favorite character is. This is going to have to be just as brief, so Metoro Inika.
Ooh.
Kopakamata.
I'd say probably Leiwa Liwa Leiwu, whatever. That green guy from 2001.
I said Bison.
You like Vizon?
Thanks, Vartemp.
Alright, what is your favorite part about being BSL1 Wiki staff?
I gotta know who it's from.
Throw in a DK05.
Thanks. So, TOC, what's your favorite part about being wiki staff?
Even
Oh,
though you're not.
I'm not wiki staff, so my favorite part is trolling, and no, not trolling, but lurking and reading BSO1, the best Bionicle wiki out there for everybody who doesn't already know. Shameless plug for you.
Good job.
Alright, now for my real staff, what do you guys think?
I hate it.
Yeah, I don't like
Awkward silence.
what are you talking about? I don't like this job.
I like being able to help in more ways that I wasn't able to before.
I'll bet the payroll is really great.
You have
I
no
like
idea.
Probably editing protected pages.
Always nice.
Yeah, just, hey, I can do this, yay.
There's a beauty in protected pages on wikis, let me tell you.
Do I actually have to answer this question?
Yep.
Yep.
I think my favorite part about being it is having the knowledge, knowing that I am pretty much in control of practically the greatest reference site that everybody's been able to build for it, you know? And I didn't have to do a thing. So what more could I want?
Yeah. How about you, Kizzy?
Just having power in general. But mostly like deleting like dupe images. Usually before I was staff, I would just like, oh look, here's a dupe image, or someone's uploaded a picture of their mug, and I have to like request a staff member to delete or do something about it, and usually that take forever. But now that I'm staff and I'm usually on for most of the time, I can do it myself.
Yeah. It is a really big privilege to be on the BS1 staff when you think about how it's the biggest Bionicle reference site and only a handful of people get to really be in charge of it. It's a pretty...
Like not me.
That is not you.
Yeah, so it's a pretty big privilege that we're thankful for.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds really great, guys.
We love you too.
I haven't got enough time for it anyway. Okay, I'll just read the last question. JM Sog or JMSOG or Jelly My Silly Old Granny. In your opinion, the best set ever made by Bionicle, and why?
Well, best set made by Bionicle, since Bionicle Company does not exist. The best Bionicle set made by Lego.
As a note, Jedi Master Snoopy has been mentioned on every podcast, which isn't saying a whole lot as we're at 4 episodes, but it's still nice. So I wonder how long he'll keep that up. But for now, unfortunately, I'm going to say we're going to have to keep that question until next episode. We got to wrap up right now. But thank you for sending that in. I'm sorry that we're not going to get to it.
Yeah, the and why kind of makes it a 20-minute question.
Exactly, yeah. So it's been a really great episode, but it's getting a little long here. So as a reminder to everybody, you can just go on to biosector01.com, scroll down a little bit on the main page to the green section. It's something we recently added, and there will be links there on how to participate in all the upcoming episodes, send in questions, comments on sets, comments on comics, and more. So go ahead and get involved. We appreciate all of your feedback. And on iTunes, if you're on there and you want to give us a rating, that's much appreciated. We thank everybody for giving us our 5-star status. I think Toa Nidiki05 was one of them from last week that rated us up. So thanks a lot, guys.
Keep going with those iTunes reviews too, because like if people are looking for podcasts, especially like for Bionicle specifically, or just for the same kind of line in general, they'll see that. They'll see, oh, this has got 5 stars. I wonder why. They'll come and see what you guys...
disappoint.
Well, they'll see the 5 stars, and so they'll subscribe to it. And so, in theory, you'll have more... I say you, not we. Will have more listeners. So, just point in case, iTunes reviews, good thing.
Yeah, so thanks everybody. And this has been a really good episode, but I want to point out that we're going to try to make every 5th episode kind of a special edition. I think we'll be going over the first movie and topical discussion, and we're going to have some achievements.
I want to be on that. Oh my gosh.
We're going to have some achievements to give out, and it's just going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully everybody will be able to tune in, and we'll get some more BS01 staff on there. And that's all I've got, so thanks everybody. It's been a really good episode.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. This was a lot of fun, even if I made you guys run a little bit long with my ranting. And if you need an extra host, I would certainly be glad to come back on and try to limit my rants.
All right.
And I am sorry that I got on a little late. I was running behind, so.
For my first time, it's pretty fun also, but pretty late, guys. It's midnight for me.
Hey, thanks for toughing it out.
Yep, go get some sleep, man.
I think I will.
Good night.
All right, see you for episode 5, guys.
Oh,
It's amazing.
wow.
Go ahead, tell me what you think.
Who, me?
Yes.
What was that noise?
Oh, was that me? I'm sorry. Typing it.
Yeah. I was getting, that, okay.
Is that Morse code?
Dot 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 dash 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 dot dot dot.
He's giving me all the answers. He wants me to tell you his opinion, so we're communicating with Morse code. No.
Hey, that works.
Okay.
Anyway, that's all the news for BS01. Last pop-up, die. Okay. Hey, Sword, are you there? No, okay.
Did you call it?
Okay, well.
Hi, Craw.
Crawl, you back?
Yeah.
Craw, did
I
we
can
just
tell that.
lose... Hang on, Sword. Craw, did we just lose everything?
No, we did not.
Yes! Oh, we were all,
Yay!
we were all worried that we had
Celebrate.
lost the entire show.
No, it's just my internet. Audacity's still recording.
Oh.
Thank goodness. Oh, okay. Last question here. Anybody? Are you chowing down on chips or something, Sword?
No, why would I be?
It sounded like you were eating.
I just realized something. You know what this is? It's just Luke Skywalker fighting the Emperor because in the
Power! Unlimited power!
continuation of Star Wars, he gains like green lightning. Luke does. So this is really what it is. They're just fighting each other.